I do have the battle pass. Ah, screw it, I want it, I want it. I'm gonna put a little bit. Okay, easy Ishmael. I have too much lunacy and it's so long since Valpurgis. Please, just give me like... Give me my Ryoshu. More maids. Oh! Ryoshu, Ryoshu, Ryoshu. Oh my god, am I goaded or what? Oh my god, 30 pulls, the Ryoshu. The lunacy just keeps rising. Alright, hello everyone. So the new characters are out. Let's take a look at their skills and what they do. For Ishmael, my opinion of her, after looking at the kit really well, is that she is a very sussy poise character. First off, not Blade Lineage, so cannot take any buffs from your Blade Lineage Assault. Can take buffs though from Blade Lineage Dawn, because Dawn doesn't really care which faction you're from. Her poise gain is really slow. She has no other way to get poise. Her poise count is the main problem I have with this character. Gain 2 poise count, right? And then on hit, gain 2 poise. So what happens if you crit on any one of these is that you immediately lose every single poise on your character. Skill 2 is the same shit. If you crit on any one of these, you will pretty much lose all of your poise immediately. But theoretically, let's say you don't lose any of your poise. Right? So what happens is that you gain 2 poise, and then you don't crit. So next turn, you have 1 poise count left. Skill 2, you use this, and then you'll be able to get additional 2 poise count, but at the end of the turn, you have now 2 poise count left. Right? So the poise count build up is really slow because of the nature of poise count. It's really hard to maintain unless you're being fed it multiple times. She technically does have a way to feed herself, which is Blind Obsession, Ishmael Wow Ego, but that's not good enough, honestly. It's like really expensive if you want to try and feed your Ishmael with that obsession, because you will need to use the corroded form of that obsession, and it's already a WoW ego, and that's very expensive for a 2-star ID. If I have to use a WoW ego to make a 2-star ID work, I would rather not use a 2-star ID, in my opinion. So, besides that, right, this character, the skill tree, doesn't have any poise count on it, and it's gained 6 poise. With the passive being, if this unit crits against targets with slower speed, you inflict 1 additional potency for negative effects only. Now, this is a bit problematic, because you don't really generate enough poise count to maintain your poise count, so you will lose it eventually. And furthermore, you have to snipe a negative effect only, and it's only for potency effects, which means sinking count does not count as a potency effect. So you have to snipe specific coins to crit, which is very bad and is a bit reminiscent of like early Blade Lineage designs, where they wanted you to crit on a specific skill instead. I mean, they did design them in a way where the third skill is usually the one you want to crit on, but because they made it a specific like third coin to crit, it was very hard because you would need to maintain enough poise until that point in order to crit. And this character is not Blade Lineage, so she cannot get fed 1 billion poise so that she will reach that point. So in my opinion, this character is very wonky. Your poise generation by yourself is really bad. Very hard to maintain. And furthermore, they ask you to snipe this skill tree here, because theoretically, if you can crit this condition on your skill tree third coin specifically, you'll be able to get 3 sinking, 3 bind, 2 slash fragility, which is very nice. But that's only if you can not crit on coin 1, not crit on coin 2, and crit on coin 3 with like 2 poise count after you do skill 1, skill 2. Yeah, so that by itself should say everything I have to say about this character. She just sus. This is very sus. Alright, and then besides that, if you talk about clash power, she is pretty much a typical 2-star ID where she clashes like dog water until she meets conditions. Skill 1 is going to be 11, skill 2 is going to be 14, skill 3 is going to be a 12. If you get the coin power, which is very easy condition to be fair, you just need to be faster than the target, and you can manipulate that by being faster than your opponent, then you will be able to get a 16 here, a 16 here, as well as a, this one is what, 13 here, yeah, 13 here. So you'll be able to just clash normally like a 2-star ID. So yeah, so this character, if you want to get this passive working, it's just not it, in my opinion. right? But besides that, let's talk about the sinking part of her kit. The skill 1 has 1 sinking, 2 skill has 1 sinking here, and skill 3 has 1, 2, 3 sinking instances, right? So that means that you can trigger Echoes of the Manor pretty well, because Echoes of the Manor will trigger 3 times here. Skill 2, you can trigger Echoes of the Manor here, you can trigger Echoes of the Manor here, right? But if you compare this character directly with Molar Ishmael, this is straight up not it. Because if you look at her, plus 2 sinking count on skill 1, plus 6 potency on skill 2, and then Risky Judgment is going to be 5 sinking count, 3 sinking, and 3 sinking. So in terms of just sinking instances, I think Molar Ishmael applies more, and also, even though she hits less of the Echoes of the Manor, but she applies more overall. So yeah, it's not it. This character is not it. I thought she would be like a real like sinking specialist or has some like interesting poise generations or something like that, but no, not even. The only good thing about her, in my opinion, is the support passive. When one ally with the fastest speed attacks the target with sinking, you deal 1% more damage for every 1 sinking on the target. Now this one is the actually only good thing about her, in my opinion, besides her defense skill being a 13 and you can heal SP on the evasion. Like, if I want to use an evader, I'll just take a 3-star with evasion, right? This passive here is probably the only reason I would ever consider benching her for. So yeah, this character, I feel like she's not actually very functional. I do like her design though. Maid Ishmael is very, very nice. But the character's kit is just not it. It's not it. Very, very sus. Very, very sus in my opinion. Yep. So that's my opinion of her. Let's move on to Ryoshu. I don't want to waste time on the Ishmael for now. Let's talk about Ryoshu. Ryoshu, first off, is not going to beat W Ryoshu. Because W Ryoshu has insane amounts of coins. She has 3 coins, 3 coins, and 4 coins. Like, how the hell are you going to beat? So not 4 coin, 5 coin. So how the hell is like this character going to beat that? Because she has 2 coin, 2 coin, 2 coin. She's going to be significantly less single target damage. In exchange for that, what she trades that for is AoE, and a special on-kill effect where you can use your skill twice, a little bit like Mutilate, except that this will not repeat on the reuse. So that means you cannot do a kill chain combo, like where you set up a bunch of enemies to be low HP, and then you kill one, then that will kill number 2 because you reuse, and then on the reuse you kill again, so you get to use the number 3 again, and then you can continue and continue and continue until you hit either all die or you hit a wall with some guy not dying or something like that. But yeah, this will only trigger once. That does make it a little bit easier though, because it only triggers once. It means you don't need to set up everyone to be a kill chain. All you need to do is to set up one target to die on the second coin of your skill tree, and then you will be able to get an additional hit onto a target with Butler's Mark. And because your skill 2 is AoE, it will also apply Butler's Mark in an AoE, allowing you to always be able to do something like a skill 2 into a skill 3 to guarantee that you will be able to hit something with a Butler's Mark. Yep. So before I talk about anything else about this character being an AoE character, let's talk about Butler's Mark. What does it do? It enhances the Chief Butler Ryoshu's skills against targets, and it reduces by 1 at turn end, right? The passive, right? The passive also synergizes with this. This is where the synergy comes from. On hit against targets with Butler's Mark, you gain +1 poise count and gain 1 haste next turn. So you gain haste, and furthermore, you gain 1 poise count for hitting targets with Butler's Mark. Butler's Mark does not disappear unless you crit, which means that if you don't crit, right, you're building up poise count, and if you do crit, you're replacing the poise count that you just consumed, which is very, very good. Being able to replace your crits and being able to build up crits just by having 1 unique status on the target is very, very good. It means she's very self-sustaining in terms of the poise. And furthermore, when you crit against a target, you eliminate the BM on the target. Basically, you delete all of it. And then if this unit speed is faster, you also deal 10% damage on the crit for every 1 speed difference. Very, very solid stuff all together. So it's very similar to like Blade Lineage Faust, where you have the flower, and you are basically getting additional crit chance on it. But for this character, what you exchange that for is you get poise count instead. So you can use this as either a +1 poise count or a +0 poise count because you crit, and then you just delete the Bloodless Mark. So very, very strong passive in my opinion. And furthermore, you're also getting haste. And why this character wants haste is because she gets clash power for speed differences. Same as something like a St. Clair, where he wants to go really, really fast and clash someone really, really slow so he can get maximum power, right? But for this character, the skill 3 will give you coin power, the skill 2 will give you clash power, and it's for every 2 speed difference. This character's speed, if you notice, right, is 3 to 8. So you do want to try and get some haste on her. You do want to try to get some speed on her. You do want to try to bind people also. And thankfully, this is Ryoshu, so she does have the spider ego, lets her bind targets. She also has her friends, Yisang, Crow's Eye View, to give her 2 haste. So there's a lot of different ways that you will be able to manipulate the enemy's speed. And of course, we have the Dante power now, if you really want to force one of these to be like really, really strong, for example. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do with this character in order to manipulate their speed. And I like that they're trying to push out more characters with the being faster gets more coin and clash power. Reminds me of the good old Gebura days, where you slap on the Muse prowess on her and she just goes crazy. Yeah. Alright, so let's talk about the character's poise count generation, right? And why is it so good? First off, the passive, right? I talked about it. So you'll be able to get a +1 every time you hit someone with a Butler's Mark. Right, skill 1 gives you +2/+2 poise count. The requirement for the AoE is 6 poise count. So if your skill 1, gain 2 poise count, gain 2 poise count, you get 4. End of turn, you -1, so you have 3 poise count at the end of the turn. Now you skill 1 again. You use your skill 1 again, what happens is you get another 4, so that becomes a 7, right? But since you applied Butler's Mark of 2 beforehand, you get to hit the Butler's Mark guy again, and if you crit, oops, you crit. So what happens is you get 7 instead of becoming a 6. That's very good already, right? But if you don't crit, then you become 8. So now you have 8 poise count. And then what happens is that you go to use skill 2, you consume 6. And then after that, you get the AoE. You gain 3 poise per enemy you hit with the AoE. And you also inflict Butler's Mark on them. And if they happen to have Butler's Mark and you crit on them, you just refund one of the crit because you triggered the Butler's Mark effect. So as you can see, this character, right, having the Butler's Mark on the target is very important to making sure that you always have enough poise count or always have a way to build up more poise count so you will never run out of poise count. So yeah, Butler's Mark, very, very important mechanic to manage. Make sure you're always hitting something with Butler's Mark, whether it be in the AoE, whether it be in the single target, because you can get quite self-sustaining once you start hitting people with the Butler's Mark. Especially if you fight against like a boss with like some small adds every now and then. Like that shit is going to be very, very free. If you want to go and do the Kanto fight again with this character, I think you will find that this character is very, very solid because he summons a lot of adds, and you killing all of his adds will be able to get you a bunch of poise count, and then it'll be very, very cool in my opinion. Yeah, this character very, very solid in my opinion. Yep. And the fact that you're getting AoE poise potency is kind of insane. If you hit 3 targets, you get 9, you know. 9 on one skill is a lot. Very, very good stuff here. Okay, besides that, skill 3, you also gain a massive 7 poise count. And if you target someone with Butler's Mark, you will be able to also get, you know, the +1 refund, the +1, or you get the 0. And then also you get 5 poise. You also inflict BM if you crit, and then on hit you also inflict 2 BM, and if you hit someone with BM you get bonuses and blah 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 and so on. Basically, your whole mechanic, right, is you must apply BM with your skill 1 first. Because it applies 2 BM, it means that the BM, it will reduce at the end of the turn, but you have 1 count on the target. And after that, you hit him with another skill that applies BM. All of his skills apply at least 2 BMs to make sure that it will continue stacking the BM. Yep. The only thing to worry about is that if you crit on the target, then you lose the BM, so you might want to use your skill 1 again to reapply the BM and so on. But yeah, that BM management is going to be the tricky part about this character. The reward for all of this BM management is that you're going to get quite a lot of poise count stacking. Enemies will be exploding every now and then with massive crits, and your skill tree is going to be quite the nuke, especially when you are going to do basically a mutilate to a low HP add, and then after you kill him, you go and hit someone else with BM, and that will allow you to do all of that poise count shenanigans again, and you get an on-use gain 7, blah 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 blah. Pretty much like, yeah, this is super good for cleaning up a lot of enemies. Like, think about it. If you reuse this entire skill again, you're getting 7 poise count again, you're getting another 5 poise again, and you're also going to restagger threshold again, and blah 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 blah. Basically, if you get the reuse effect here, you should always be working towards this. You will be getting huge amount of value because it reuses the skill and not the coin. Reuses the whole skill. Very, very sick shit here. This character is like Ting Tang if Ting Tang were restricted to only be able to kill 2 people and does not have any unique mechanic. This character does have the unique mechanic of BM management, which makes her really fun in my opinion. Like, you actually have to use your brain and manage your BM marks very, very well. Yeah, and then you get massive rewards for it. Of course, if you want, you can always just use her as another AoE spammer. And the reason I pulled her is because I think that I want to use her in my farming teams. W Ryoshu will still be like the main DPS for a lot of big boss fights, because single target damage always is king in those big boss fights. But for Butler Ryoshu, I just go and farm a bunch of enemies, and then AoE, spread the fan of knives from Hearthstone or some shit. Yeah, really, really good stuff. I mean, that's not even all, right? The defense skill is really, really good also. Mediocre, I love that. I love that name for an evasion. And then on evasion, you heal 3 SP 5 times per turn. Literally the Nelly evade. And then on evasion, you also gain poise count. Like, hello? Hello? This evasion is kind of stacked. It rolls 14, it's lust, heals 3 SP 5 times per turn, gain 1 poise count 5 times per turn. Like, damn, this character is sick. This character is such a cool design, such a well done design in my opinion. I love this character a lot. Really, really well done by P Moon. Right. Support passive also has some funny uses. It's not really something you want to always use. When the ally that was deployed last wins a clash. Deployed last means you chose him as your 6th slot, right? When you're selecting your characters, then you gain +1 poise count 3 times per turn and gain 1 haste next turn, once per turn. So this haste, right, can make it so that if you're trying to do some funny rerolling with your Ishmael LCCB, you can go and use this passive, and that will give her additional 1 haste next turn, and then you can try to get your skill tree online, and then you apply 5 fragility, and then you delete 1 boss or some shit like that. Like, that is a possible option, but the more important part here should probably be that poise count stuff here. So if you put her in the support passive, you'll be able to feed more poise count to the ally that was deployed last. So if you're running the Blade Lineage team and you don't want to run this character here, feel free to just slap her in the support passive region, and then you'll be pretty much able to feed a bunch more poise count to those characters. So no matter where you look, this character is just solid, clean, and strong. Yep. It's just that, single target damage wise, you will definitely not be able to hit the peak of W Ryoshu because she is limited by her coins. I really, really, really love this character, and I do recommend her for people who just want to clear a bunch of ads really, really fast. There are a lot of farming maps in this game. EXP dungeon, Thread dungeon, Mirror dungeon. There's always going to be a lot of farming maps. And I think bringing this Edgar family butler just to deal with that, because she doesn't even need a team comp built around her, right? You can definitely just slam her in there. She will be a very good character to help to clear the ads really, really fast, in my opinion. Because if you just win rate, right? As long as you just get some poise shenanigans, you'll be able to just clear out a bunch of the ads automatically, because you do the AoE fan of knives, you'll be able to get some resets every now and then if you manage it yourself. If you don't manage it yourself, then you just let the ads, you just let the character just do whatever she wants, like, yeah. This character is just really, really good for speeding up a lot of runs. I love this character, really, really love this character. Yep, so that's going to be it for this review. Feel free to post any comments if I missed out anything, or whether I read something wrong or whatever, and I'll go and look at it later. In my opinion, new players, this banner is definitely not something for you to pull for, because W Ryoshu is more important than Butler Ryoshu. But of course, if you really, really want the Maid Ryoshu and the Maid Ishmael, then go for it. It's like that one Korean guy in the comment section that said "Kamsamida" like 10 million times because he saw that they were maids. It's like, yeah, dude, follow your heart. Your heart takes precedence over the meta stuff. So if you really, really want the maids, go and get the maids. Ryoshu can be slapped into any team comp, literally any team comp. Actually, I forgot to check one thing. Is she viable at uptide 3? Wow, she still gets the attack weight, and she still rolls 16. And this coin here is still insane. Yeah, she's actually viable at uptide 3. She still gets the AoE. Wow, that's... she still gets the AoE. And this is 4 poise and this is 7 poise. Passive change? Oh, you don't get poise count refund. Okay, so it's not that easy to get the AoE anymore. Yeah, uptide 4 is still the best, obviously, because then you still get the +1 poise count. This one is super important. It's really very, very important. So yeah, uptide 3 is technically okay, but you will not be able to spray that fan of knives really fast. But uptide 4 would be definitely recommended for this character. As for Ishmael, honestly, just skip. Like, I don't see a need for her like at all right now, except for the support passive, which is occasionally useful. Yep. Alright, so that's the summary, and that's gonna be it. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Remember to leave your comments and stuff, and I'll read them later. Alright, bye bye guys, see you guys next time.